Okay, hello. Hope everybody is better from their cold and such. At least on the East Coast, everybody got a cold. So, here we go. We got the same old story of the skeptics and atheists. They think they have something when they have nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay. They're talking about a wager, whatever it is. Pascal's labor. Pascal's wager, and you don't even need a wager because there is no other option besides God. You know, uh, uh, I mean, unless you want to be irrational and illogical, that's your only other option. So, so I posted this this response here. It said, "There's no other choice besides God. Atheism can't tell you what is. Naturalism can't account for itself. You can't use directed living organisms as evidence of no direction. Every power comes from a greater power. There is no other alternative besides an infinite, all knowing, all powerful, eternal creator of everything there is, because nothing can make itself. It's all self evident. Like the Bible says, like the goat herder said thousands of years ago." Okay, so I have this sock account response, which is what I always seem to find. You never know who it is that's responding, but they want to respond, but they don't want you to know who they are. So let me just highlight this response here, this thing here. So I do a share screen. If I may share the screen. Okay, that's not it. Here it's Hilmar Zonenveld. Oh, I got 18 subscribers. No content. Anyway, this, I guess apparently this Hilmar Zonenfeld, or Zonenveld, whichever pronunciation you want to use. Um, I guess he responds quite a bit on the Skeptic channels because I posted this response on a Skeptic channel. So anyway, he responds to me. So let me just go ahead and show some of these responses here. And he or she, or whoever it is, might respond again. I mean, actually, I want to see if the person will join. But it's a typical response here thing. So we got, let me go ahead and start with the beginning. I had what I just read. I can read it again. There is no other choice besides God. Atheism can't tell you what is. Naturalism can't account for itself. You can't use directed living organisms as evidence of no direction. Every power comes from a greater power. There is no other alternative besides an infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful, eternal creator of everything there is, because nothing can make itself. So my first response here, he or she says, atheism can't tell you what is. That's what I said. What do you mean? Atheists can't tell you what exactly? Can't tell you anything. If there is something atheists don't have an answer to, some question, then you don't have the answer either. So please stop making silly claims. Well, I do have answers because I just posted it. There is no other alternative besides an infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful, eternal creator of everything there is. Prove it. No, that would be your burden to prove that there is something else. Prove that there is no other alternative because nothing can make itself. Oh, so that means that God can't exist because he would have to have made himself. No, no. God is not a physical thing. Physical things are made. The maker of physical things is not made. He's eternal. That's the definition of God, is eternal. People like to, criticize God or say he doesn't exist and everything. They don't even know what the definition of God is. So you have to explain to them, no, the evidence is of eternal God. Okay, so I make observations, atheists make claims. It's your belief in an alternative to what the evidence shows, so you have to prove it. External evidence isn't a physical thing. Oh, eternal evidence. I don't even know what I'm reading. It's my own post. Eternal evidence isn't a physical thing. Okay. I mean, eternal existence. Of course, the maker of everything would have to be eternal because he has to be all knowing, all powerful, and forever existing. I mean, that's just what the evidence shows. Let me see. So the response is atheists make claims. It's your belief an alternative to what the evidence shows, so you have to prove it. And he says, please clarify, I claim what? You expect me to prove what exactly? Your object credit giving belief. Your baseless magical belief. And while you're at it, how about you give an example of something which atheists don't have to answer to? What? Give an example of something which atheists don't have the answer to. You can't tell me where anything came from. Okay. You're claiming an alternative to what the evidence clearly shows, that energy comes from a greater energy, intelligence comes from a greater intelligence. You're claiming an alternative. No, I have not made any alternative claims. Yes, you do. You're saying not God. So what are you claiming other than God? I'm asking you whether you have any evidence of your claims. I just gave you the evidence. Just gave what the evidence was. It's just so nonsensical talking to these nonsensical people. Otherwise, it's just we don't know. No, you don't know. Speak for yourself. To what the evidence clearly shows that these people are so brainwashed, they don't even listen to what you're saying. Energy comes from a greater energy, intelligence comes from a greater intelligence. Oh, so I have two questions about this. So after reading a little bit, he's got two questions. Could you please explain how evidence clearly shows that? Evidence clearly shows that energy comes from greater energy. That's what the evidence is. Can't come from the same amount of energy. Otherwise, it's just, it always has to be left. If you got a certain amount of energy, whatever comes from that energy has to be equal or less. It can't be, and it doesn't account from where it came from. Okay, so that's science. That's thermodynamics. If we assume your claim is true, intelligence can only come from a greater intelligence, then the intelligent God you are trying to prove must clearly have been created by even a greater intelligence, right? This guy doesn't even get it. He doesn't even get it. You're not listening. I have observations, you have claims, you lack the proof. While I observe, the energy goes from order to disorder. You don't seem to understand what eternal is, or all knowing, or all powerful. It's like he's, I don't know. Takes him a while to understand what you're saying. You're saying, and you have to repeat it, repeat it. You're not listening. Okay, sorry, what, according to you, am I claiming? You're claiming a natural cause. I lack the proof for what? A natural cause. You don't seem to understand what eternal is, or all-knowing or powerful. On the contrary, I understand all that quite well. No, you don't, because I have to explain it every time. You don't even know don't even know what eternal is. I also understand the concepts of gods. I just don't buy it. No, you don't understand that God is eternal. That's the most important thing. You clearly did not understand God is eternal. You probably never even thought about it. From the looks of things, you also do not understand that you have failed to prove your belief in a natural cause for natural things. You probably never thought about that either. It's not complicated. All you have to do is to follow where the evidence leads, and it doesn't lead to a natural cause of anything. That's the whole problem. Nothing can cause itself. No physical thing can cause itself. Physical things are the result of energy. Energy comes from a greater source of energy. This guy says I'm a lost cause, and what I say, I just said, okay, you're the one giving all the glory to mindless matter. So he's the lost cause. Okay. You clearly did not understand that God is eternal. No, there is something you clearly don't understand, namely that there is a difference between understanding something and believing it. There it goes with the believing. I observe and he believes. He makes claims. He believes. I observe. For example, I understand perfectly well the concept of eternal God. No, you didn't. I had to explain it to you. I just don't buy it. I had to explain it to you. Because he acted like he didn't even know God was eternal. Because he said another God made a God. No, you don't know what eternal God, all powerful God is. Okay, so you also feel, understand, feel, prove your belief in natural cause for natural things. Please check my messages. I made no such claim. It's the only other claim you can make, and it's not a claim that can be made. I'm asking for evidence for your claims, and always want to shift the burden of proof. When I have proof and he has no proof of a natural cause. It's like he doesn't believe anything. He's just trying to criticize what I believe. But all the while, he believes in a natural cause. All I have to do is to follow where the evidence leads. Okay, so what is the evidence for a God? Oh, here it goes. All over again. I have to start all over again. Explain all over again that energy comes from a greater energy. That's the evidence of God. I know it's hard for you. Just pay attention. Energy comes from a greater energy. Intelligence comes from a greater intelligence. Comes from the maker of time, who is not limited by time that he makes. Everything is evidence of God that you say is not there. You have no evidence. All you have is baseless claims. I have observations. So here we go. See if he's getting it yet. Intelligence comes from a greater intelligence. So let's see where this leads us. This means that if God is intelligent, he must have been created. It's the same thing over and over. He did that twice. This is the second time he's doing it. Comes from a greater, some sort of super God, right? I understand you correctly. This is the only way intelligence can arise. So I'm saying, keep going. He's going, oh, it comes from a greater God. Keep going. Where did that God come from? A greater God. Oh, where did that one come from? A greater God. It's not complicated. So, do you realize that? So now you're trying to change the subject. You realize that if we assume that intelligence can only arise from a greater intelligence, the inevitable conclusion is that God was itself created by some sort of super God. He's reverting back, but then he's going to change something. Or whatever we might call it, which must be even more intelligent. So he's, as a third time, seriously, Now he changes the thing. Intelligence comes from a greater intelligence is not an observation as you claim. It's something you would have to prove. No, because that would be something that you would have to prove. You would have to prove intelligence comes from no intelligence. Okay, you would have to prove that intelligence comes from no intelligence. You cannot do that. That would be your belief that you failed to prove. So always trying to throw it on me what he believes. You know, I don't have to prove what he believes. He's got to prove it. I don't believe it. You would have to prove that intelligence comes from no intelligence. Once again, I have made no such claim. I have asked whether you have any evidence of your claim. That is the evidence. That energy comes from a greater energy. Intelligence comes from a greater intelligence. That's what the evidence is. Keep having to repeat it. There is no other choice besides God. This is when I repeat this initial statement, because it's like he's not even listening to anything that I said, and so I have to go to the initial statement to answer his question. There is no other choice besides God. Okay. Atheism can't tell you what it is. Naturalism can't account for itself. You can't use directed living organisms as evidence of no direction. Every power comes from a greater power. There is no other alternative besides an infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful, eternal creator of everything there is, because nothing can make itself. So the evidence is of an eternal creator. Creation is evident by the things that are made, so that even his divine attributes are clearly seen. His divine attributes are clearly seen. I don't know if I was holding the microphone or not. Makes a lot of noise if I do that. There is no other alternative besides, okay, you repeat. No. Anyway, how about you prove that there is no other alternative? He wants me to prove what he believes, that it's not true. He wants me to prove that what he believes is not true. But it's his belief, he has to prove it, because there's no evidence of it being true. I got to see the evidence. Where's the evidence for a natural cause? There's no evidence of a natural cause. That's what I'm saying. Are you deaf? Anyway, how about you prove that there is no other alternative instead of just claiming it? It's not my claim, it's your claim. Natural cause is your claim. Another alternative, or a natural alternative, or magic is your claim. That's your claim that you failed to prove. See if he answered. I don't think he did. But if he did, he could join the discussion. I don't know. Maybe he just gave up. But the logic or lack of logic is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Anyways, I don't want to belabor the point if there's nothing too much going on. So, I don't have to prove what atheists believe. Atheists believe in a natural cause for natural things, that natural things made themselves by some unknown means. That's not my belief. I don't have to prove it. That's your belief. You have to prove it. And you don't have any evidence that anything made itself.